Just outside Magdala, the group took a boat trip on the Sea of Galilee. This was a real highlight of the trip. And what was great about this is when you're out in the Sea of Galilee looking on the shoreline, you can see Magdala, you can see Capernaum, you can see these other sites where Jesus would have gone. And you can see how a quick boat trip from site to site is how he conducted some of his ministry.
And Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brethren, Simon called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. And he saith unto them, Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. And they straightway left their nets and followed him. And going on from thence he saw other two brethren, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, in a ship with Zebedee their father, mending their nets. And he called them. And they immediately left the ship and their father, and followed him.
And there's Ron and Mark, some other people from the group, Robin, Patricia. There's Debbie Miller in front of me. And there's Colleen Hubbard. And there's Constance, and then Ken. And the lady you see there in the black shirt, that's Gay Block. She was hilarious. She was great on this trip. And there's Sharon Brittle. And there's Jamie and her mom. And there's a few pictures of me. I had to include it. Sorry about that. There's a couple more pictures of the Sea of Galilee. And here's an amazing event that happened right out here on the Sea of Galilee.
And straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship, and to go before him unto the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night Jesus went unto them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand, and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. Then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, Of a truth, thou art the Son of God.
That occurred right out here. Of course, it was stormy and rough. But that occurred right out here in these waters. And there's Rich Freeman, the group leader, getting ready to give us a Bible lesson. Okay, now you see that mountain back there with the steep drop right down, and then it slopes off and comes down to the Sea of Galilee. Right at that valley there is where Magdala is. And there's the Mount of Beatitudes. And then right back there where you see that white building, that's Capernaum. We're going to visit there a little later. And after the boat ride, we came into the Jesus Boat Museum. And some of you guys may have heard of this place. And what it is, it's It's a museum with they've discovered a 1st century fishing boat. They call it the Jesus boat, but it's doubtful Jesus was in this boat. But this is a 1st century fishing boat. It was discovered buried in the mud, not far from here. It's been preserved and put on display. So this is exactly the kind of boat that the disciples would have been using when they were fishing, that Jesus and the disciples would have used at different points in the Gospels. After we left Magdala, we drove up alongside the Sea of Galilee a bit and came to a place called Peter's Primacy. And it was at this shore where the events of John 21 took place.
After these things Jesus showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias, and on this wise showed he himself. There were together Simon Peter, and Thomas called Didymus, and Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, and the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other of his disciples. Simon Peter saith unto them, I go a-fishing. They say unto him, We also go with thee. They went forth, and entered into a ship immediately. And that night they caught nothing. But when the morning was now come, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples knew not that it was Jesus. Then Jesus saith unto them, Children, have ye any meat? They answered him, No. And he said unto them, Cast the net on the right side of the ship, and ye shall find. They cast therefore, and now they were not able to draw it for the multitude of fishes. Therefore that disciple whom Jesus loved saith unto Peter, It is the Lord. Now when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he girt his fisher's coat unto him, for he was naked, and did cast himself into the sea. And the other disciples came in a little ship, for they were not far from land, but as it were 200 cubits, dragging the net with fishes. As soon then as they were come to land, they saw a fire of coals there, and fish laid thereon, and bread. Jesus saith unto them, Bring of the fish which ye have now caught. Simon Peter went up and drew the net to land full of great fishes, 153. And for all there were so many, yet was not the net broken. Jesus saith unto them, Come and dine. And none of the disciples durst ask him, Who art thou? Knowing that it was the Lord. Jesus then cometh, and taketh bread, and giveth them, and fish likewise. This is now the 3rd time that Jesus showed himself to his disciples, after that he was risen from the dead. So when they had dined, Jesus saith to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my lambs. He saith to him again the 2nd time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. He saith unto him the 3rd time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved, because he said unto him the 3rd time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things, thou knowest that I love thee. Jesus saith unto him, Feed my sheep.
And from here we headed to Capernaum, where we're going to see some amazing things.